Hey everyone, I want to talk about a case today that was on the True Crime Daily YouTube channel a few months ago, like back in about 3 months ago. Anyways, a 12-year-old girl was raped by four of her brothers in her own home. This little girl raped. This is not sex. This is not consensual sex. This is rape. The oldest brother was 22. Okay? This little girl gets pregnant, goes to the doctor, and the doctor is the one who files the report and, tells someone what's going on. So they go and investigate it. And in fact, she is pregnant. Well, she has her baby at 13. When they've actually filed the charges on two of the brothers, only two, because the other ones are, I guess, like juvenile age. The two brothers are facing 15 years in prison, right? Well, how about they get a plea deal and they get 5 years probation, community service, and, have to write a letter to their community, stuff like that. Not write a letter to their sister who they raped more than many, many times that they admitted to. But write a letter to their Amish community apologizing for their actions and get some counseling. Now, they didn't offer anything to the little girl that was raped and had a baby by her brothers. So this area called Seymour, the community goes in outrage. They protest outside the courthouse. They go crazy. I mean, can you blame them? They're just outraged. And they're like, what the heck? How could y'all make a plea bargain with these boys? How could you do this and that? Get this. So 3 days after these two boys are put on probation, they go to one of their probation appointments, and the probation officer asks them, okay, so what is your address? Where are you living? And these two boys say, at home. Probation officer's like, what do you mean at home? Who do you live with at home? Who lives there? And they're like, oh, well, my parents, my sister, us. Probation officer's like, what do you mean your sister? The sister that you raped and got pregnant? That sister? The one you just went to court about? The one you just got probation over? That sister? Yeah. We've been living with that sister. You were told in your court plea you were not to be around her. You were not so much as breathe in her direction. Yet you've been living with her for 3 days or longer? Well, we didn't know. We didn't know we weren't supposed to be around her. Bullcrap. They did know. So then they go to say, well, Ben didn't tell us. Guess who Ben is? Ben is the prosecutor. Not the lawyer, not the dad, not the friend, but the prosecutor. They're on the first name basis with the freaking prosecutor. So this town, this community, wants the judge and the prosecutor fired. They want them completely done, because they were the ones who gave these boys a little bit of probation, a little bit of community service, just a slap on the wrist, basically, because they said they didn't understand what they were doing. When are communities going to stop making excuses up for people? Well, they're Amish, they didn't understand, and they put on the old John Boy look, so they don't look like they would just do something like that. And these prosecutors believe it. You shouldn't believe it. These people, they know what they're doing. They know it's wrong. There is more rape in Amish country, polygamy, homes. There is so much rape and incest in some of these places, and it's not told because of this situation, where the criminals don't pull time. They get some probation. That's why a lot of victims and families don't come forward, because nothing happens. Well, the probation officer tells the judge what happened. Well, they're living back at home with their sister, who they just went to court, over because they raped her and got her pregnant. Judge says, no, they're not. They're going to prison for 15 years because that was the deal. You stay away from her, or if you violate, you go to prison and you pull that time. So these two boys are locked up. Okay, but that's not the end of it. The girl is still living at home with the other two brothers who also raped her. Where the hell are these parents at? Where the hell is CPS at? Where the hell is our judicial system? Where is justice for this girl? Now, we've been calling this girl Daisy because we want her to have a name. Since we don't actually have a name for her, we've been calling her Daisy. I find this so despicable. I am glad that True Crime Daily shared this story because nobody had heard about it. People still haven't heard about it. And this girl, I think, because I've been looking for updates and I can't find any updates, but from what I found out, the other two brothers haven't been charged with anything. Therefore, they aren't going to learn anything. They're going to think that it's okay because, see, the older two brothers, they went, even when they were on probation and had all that community service and all that stuff, they still thought they could live with her and it would just be okay. So you know the two younger brothers don't think they did anything wrong either. The fact that this little girl and this baby is living in a home with the parents and these two brothers is disgusting. The parents allowed this to happen and they didn't do anything to stop it. They didn't report anything. They supported their other kids who raped their little girl. Now some news media is trying to say, oh, the brothers, well, they sexually assaulted their 12-year-old sister. Nobody is rape. A 12-year-old cannot consent. So we're going to listen to a little bit of the video while I clean my kitchen because it's awful right now and hear what the investigator, what a lawyer has to say and what True Crime Daily reporter has to say. And they're going to bring in some people who were protesting outside of the courthouse because they were there in person and they know exactly what went down too.
Prison time. And I want to remind everyone that when they raped this girl, she was 12, but she ended up getting pregnant and she had a baby when she was 13. And there were a total of 4 brothers that were involved in the sexual assault, 2 minors who have not been charged, and then the 2 older brothers. I mean, I don't know what to say about this, Lonnie.
Well, and horrific as it is that she actually ended up getting pregnant, honestly, we might never have known about it if she hadn't gotten pregnant. If she hadn't gone to the doctor and the doctor realized that she was pregnant and asked her, because she's 12 years old, who have you been having sex with? What's going on here? That's how this came to light. And the doctor is the one who ended up calling the police. If she didn't have that baby in her tummy, who knows what would have happened to her? Who knows if this would have been continuing on for the rest of her life? We just don't know. And the fact that she was in a home where 4 brothers were all abusing her. It's like, what is going on in this home? Where are the parents? We don't even know who the father is because all 4 of them were having sex with her. Yeah, it's mind-boggling, and it's just it makes you just want to pull this little girl into your arms and just say, you know, that's not what life is supposed to be, and protect her and save her. And yet, clearly that hasn't happened.
Nope.
But no, because she was pregnant, there was no denying it, right? I mean, nobody could say, oh, no, she's just making it up. She's pregnant. She has a baby now. And so once it came to trying to figure out who it was and talking to the brothers, you know, they just said, yeah, we're the ones that were doing it. We've all been having sex with her.
Yes, the brothers did not deny it when the police...
This is the brothers. What is our judicial system thinking? They put them right back in the home with her. They haven't even taken her out the home. The first thing you should do is take the victim out of the situation and get her help and get her baby help. But they haven't done that still, as far as I know.
Came knocking. They admitted that they called it having sex. I'm sorry, I have to call this sexual assault or rape because a 12-year-old cannot consent. It doesn't work that way. A 12-year-old has no consent. I don't care whether you're Amish or you're not. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
No matter what's going on in that home that make it look like it's okay, it's not. That was clearly rape of this little girl over and over again.
They admitted, the 2 brothers admitted that it happened at least 6 times.
Each.
At least.
Damn.
Each of those brothers 6 times. And who knows, that's how many they confessed to, right? We don't know how many other times. And then what about the other 2 brothers who we don't even know how old they were, but how many times were they raping her? The numbers boggle your mind.
It's true.
It really does. It really does. And had there not been any other family, and especially a family of color, are you going to tell me that the results would have been the same? That the two assailants walk, and that the girl goes home with her baby to the same parents that let this happen?
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting. There's so much focus on what's happening to the rapist. What's happening to the victim, right? What happened to the victim here? They just put her right back in the same situation. Who was looking out for her? Who was supposed to be looking out for her? You can't rely on the family in this situation, obviously, to look out for her. Mm-hmm. Someone else step in.
Absolutely. And so as part of this special program, we're going to look at what happened as a result of the first episode that we did a month ago, which is a lot happened. A lot happened because we had a co-host who you know, Luis Bolaños, and the people in Missouri, in Seymour, Missouri, who were protesting because they were like, this cannot be happening. This is not justice. How is this girl being protected? Why aren't prosecutors coming down so much harsher on these two rapist brothers? So they've been out there protesting, and they felt like no True Crime Daily. Lewis has gotten involved so much in Seymour, who's been rallying the troops on, as well as we're going to have two 12-year-old sister. Petey Schwartz, 18. Aaron Schwartz, 22. Each was charged with 6 counts of rape and 1 charge of incest. Now, what ends up happening is, you know, they admit to it, right? Okay, they're headed to trial. They're headed to trial, and this is the part that's amazing. So September 8th, they're supposed to go into trial, but before then, they reach a plea agreement. Okay, plea agreements I know happen all the time. But this one, Lonnie, I want you to explain to me what could have possibly been in the minds of people to think this was okay. The 6 charges of rape were dropped to 2 counts of molestation, a suspended sentence of 15 years, meaning they were never going to go to prison, and they got 5 years probation. In addition to that, to the conditions of this plea deal, they were forbidden from having any contact with their little sister who they raped, the victim here. Absolutely no contact. And they had to register as sex offenders, and then they had to write a letter of apology to Seymour's Amish community about what they had done, plus 100 hours of community service. Of course the brothers took this deal. It was a sweetheart deal. Can you figure this out, Lonnie?
Okay, so when a deal is cut like this, you have all of this time hanging over their heads, right? They put 15 years, and it wasn't like it was going to go away. It was suspended. So essentially what they say is, look, this big, huge hammer can come down on you if you step out of line one bit. So we're putting 15 years of prison over your head. And if you don't follow every single probation condition that we lay out for you, you're going to prison for 15 years. There's no ifs, ands, or buts at that point. There's no negotiating. There's no pleading. There's no nothing. You're going to go to prison for 15 years. At least.
I cannot believe they got a plea deal like that. That is insane. That they dropped everything and gave these 2 boys this. It's disgusting.
This is the way, if I set up a deal, like they stepped out of line even a little bit, boom, they're gone, right? So apparently that's what this prosecutor was thinking, because he said that. He went out to the media.
He said several things like, even though they confessed, he said it would be very hard for me to get a harsher sentence. Do you think that's true?
Harsher than probation? No. No.
Exactly.
I don't believe that at all. They're going to understand now that there are consequences to what they were doing.
To your point that maybe they didn't understand, apparently 3 days after they signed this agreement and went home, they violated the probation agreement because they saw their sister, the victim who they had raped.
Yeah.
3 days after this. So they get hauled back into court last week. They go before the judge, and they admit that they saw their sister, and get this, Lonnie, they said, oh, we didn't realize we weren't supposed to see her.
Yeah.
Give me a frickin' break. What the hell is going on here?
So it's interesting. So their probation officer, had a meeting with them, because that's what they're supposed to do on their own probation. And they said, where are you living and who's living there? And they go, oh, well, we're living in our house and our sister's there, essentially, right? And the probation officer's like, what are you thinking? That violates your probation. And the one brother, Aaron, said, He thought that there were no restrictions. And the other brother, Petey, said, the court, well, Ben, that's the prosecutor's name, by the way, Ben said he doesn't have any restrictions, so that's what we got from the court. I find that very interesting. One, that they...
First off, the court gives you a paper. When you go through and you're actually convicted of something, you get a paper that tells you everything that you have been charged with and convicted of. I know I've been there. I told you in my other videos about the charges that I had, and I got a piece of paper before probation and after probation that told me everything after court that I was supposed to do and not do. And they made it very clear to me. The probation officer did, the judge did, the lawyer did. Everybody made it clear to me. You better not do this, 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 and this. And I got a piece of paper telling me everything. So these boys knew. These boys are lying. The Amish community is protecting them in that area. And it's messed up because nobody's protecting this little girl. This 12, 13-year-old girl. Nobody is standing up for her except for the community. Not the Amish community, but to the community. They are stepping up for her. They are making a change for her, and they're trying to get her out of that situation. We have to share awareness. We got to share this story. We have to talk about this story and stop this from happening to anyone else. If you want to see this video, go to True Crime Daily. It's called Justice for Amish Girl Impregnated by Brothers. Survivors Talk Sexual Abuse in Amish Community. Because this video goes on and they talk about, there's Amish survivors who talk about what happened to them too while they were in this community and in Amish community. And we know it's not all Amish communities that do this. It's not religion. It's abusers who do this. But this community in particular, this Amish community in particular, is trying to sweep this under the rug, and they're trying to protect these boys. They're not protecting this girl, and CPS and law enforcement has got to step in and take this girl away from these parents and away from this community and find out, make sure nobody else is being hurt. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like I said, go check their video out. It's really good.